You may think a gardener, okay, is pretty optional. If you don't let the garden, if you don't take care, you don't tend to it. So the worst is going to grow in a wild fashion, weeds. It will never really produce what it needs to produce in the proper way. So yes, in the physical garden, you may say, who cares? Even though it doesn't look good, but is there any really life and death stakes any life and death consequences at stake? But when it comes to children, that's not the case, obviously. Children, this is life and death. And I don't just mean physical life and death, I mean spiritual, psychological, emotional. Because if they grow up in an environment where it is completely overgrown and the flowers cannot flourish and fulfill their calling, what do you think will happen? In a garden, they will wither. In a human being, withering means insecurities, fears, the uncertainties that shake us up, the inability to make firm decisions, the inability to truly trust and love. Now, I don't know the psychology of a flower or a fruit, but perhaps they also have experienced something like that in a different form. But in a human being, there's no doubt, not tended to, not taken care of, not creating the proper environment will create, unfortunately, a child as it grows into adult with many challenges. Now, there's enough challenges in life that we cannot control. So we want to do the best possible job we can do. And I'll put it quite bluntly. I believe, I have no question in my mind, that the single most precious commodity in existence is our children. They are our future. They determine what the future will look like, what kind of homes they will build, what kind of marriages they will have, how they will love, how they will perpetuate any legacy, any values, how they will be productive adults and be the best they can be in making this world into a garden. Because the garden analogy, of course, extends to the entire world as well. So put it in different terms, if you want to measure the barometer of a successful society, I see it only one way: the welfare of our children, how well they're taken care of, how well they're loved. And of course, the contrast is the opposite of that. When any forms of absenteeism, of abandonment, even in a subtle form, definitely more overt abuse and so on, is one of the worst possible crimes, if not the worst. Because what you're doing is taking vulnerable, defenseless, fragile, impressionable children and not letting them be the best they can be. So it's in the hands of the gardener, not the very physical growth of the child, but the entire personality and attitudes and confidence and self-esteem and all that comes with it, the trust, the love that I mentioned. It's in our hands. So the role of a parent, the mission of a parent, is sacred, is unique. And I use the word sacred very deliberately. It's the most sacred mission you can have.